Alright guys, I want to make this video really quick, and it comes from a question from a subscriber who wants to know, what short guys can do, in order to compete with taller guys in the sexual marketplace. And this is a question I actually get a lot about, so, I want to go ahead and tackle this issue. And if you're actually serious, if you're a short guy who's actually serious about overcoming this issue, this video can be pretty helpful. And I know a lot of guys out there, they're just looking for excuses. If you're short and you're looking for an excuse, then you don't need to even watch this video. Just use short as an excuse and you can just leave. And I'm not trying to be a dick, I'm just saying some guys out there are actually serious about receiving advice, and that's what this video is for. Now, the first thing you have to understand when it comes to hooking up or finding a girlfriend or whatever it is you're trying to do, there's two dynamics involved. There's intersexual and intrasexual. Now, intersexual is basically, it has to do with things like attraction and connection. It's basically your one-on-one experiences with a woman, So when the two of you are together, that's intersexual. Your ability to have a deep conversation, things like that. That's not going to be an issue. If you're a short guy, your intersexual dynamics are going to be, they're not really going to be affected, because you're still going to have the ability to connect with women when you're the only person around, when it's just the two of you. So where you're going to run into issues is the intrasexual, and that's competing with the same sex. That's competing with other guys. So if you're under, let's say, 5'9", let's say you're 5'6" or 5'7", and you're single and you're going out and you're trying to pick up women, what's going to happen is you're going to be talking to women, and there's going to be taller guys, they kind of have a bully mindset. And they're going to see you talking to women, and they're going to see this as an opportunity to AMOG you. If you don't know what AMOG means, it's the alpha male other guy. That's what that means. So just to give you a description of what an AMOG is, imagine you're sitting at a bar and you're having a conversation with a new woman, and things seem to be going well. And by all means, it looks like the two of you are probably going to leave together and you're going to have sex, and it's going to be a great night. But some other guy sits on the other side of her, and the first question he asks is, "Hey, do you two know each other?" And she says no, and then all of a sudden the two of them are in a conversation, you're no longer a part of it, and she ends up leaving with him. That's what being AMOG'd means. So essentially, this is the problem that you're going to run into if you're a short guy, because taller guys are going to use their height as an advantage against you. So when they see you talking to a pretty woman, they're going to try to interrupt you and kind of tower over you, basically attempting to AMOG you. So what you have to do, and I don't like using terminology from the manosphere, maintaining frame. That's mostly a Rollo Tomasi rational male term, but you have to maintain frame in this situation. And what I mean here is, do not let this guy emasculate you. Because getting AMOG'd is probably the most emasculating thing that can possibly happen to a man. I can think of a time when I was in high school, and I ran around with a bunch of, football players, athletes, guys who at the time were kind of over the top, vulgar, wannabe alpha males. That's the jock type, the dumb jock type, the Chad type, you could say. So I can remember one time when me and about 4 or 5 of my friends were sitting on a couch, we were sitting there watching some sports, and it was a Saturday night, I think, and a car full of girls came up and walked into the house. And all of a sudden, we went from being like best friends to like worst enemies, because the intrasexual dynamics kicked in as soon as the girls walked in. I remember I was wearing a pink shirt, and one of my friends was like, "Hey, why are you wearing that pink shirt?" "It's because you're a fucking pussy, isn't it?" And so I had to respond quickly in order to maintain frame and not be emasculated in front of the women. So my response was something like, "No, only guys with big dicks can wear pink shirts, and that explains why you never wear them." And it was stupid, it was corny, obviously immature, but that's an example of maintaining frame and not being emasculated, not being AMOG'd. So if you're a shorter guy and you're competing with taller men, over women, what you have to do is reverse that. You have to maintain frame. You have to almost emasculate him for being too tall. You know what I'm saying? I can remember one time I was at a nightclub, and this was shortly after me and my ex had broken up, so I'm living alone in a city, and I really know nobody. So, and I wanted to still get laid, you know, and all that, so I would go out to nightclubs, sometimes by myself. And I remember this one time, I was talking to this chick, and you know, we had kind of split up, and I was like out talking to some other people, and I noticed she was talking to some other guy, and he was a real short guy. He was like probably 5'6", and I went back because I was like, you know, whatever. I wanted to talk to her again, and so I had to interrupt him while he was talking to her, and he was like, he said something like, how tall are you? And I was like 6 feet tall. He was like, well, I was just about to ask her to dance, and we all know tall guys can't dance, so why don't you beat it, Lurch? And then he did like this little dance move that like only a short guy could pull off. It was like the footwork could only be pulled off by a short guy. And it was like, she gave him a look, and like she giggled, and it wasn't like she was laughing because it was funny. It was like the giggle that women do when they're like really turned on by a guy and really attracted to a guy. So at that moment I was like, fuck, like this guy, like, and I'm not a hater, you know, so to me it was like, I'm inspired by winners, and this guy just won. So I had to respect it, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, like, you can have her, man. So basically, if you're a short guy, what you have to do is, you know, play the short guy game, basically. You are a short guy, you have to own that role, and you have to be proud of it, be proud of the fact that you're short, and you have to be witty, and you have to maintain frame, and you have to be willing to go out there, and you have to find a way to package being short as, you know, a cool masculine trait. I know it sounds like it's impossible when you have like a, you know, a quitter mindset, but when you actually own the role and you're proud of who you are, you're comfortable in your own skin, and you're not going to be emasculated, and you're willing to stand up to the bully, you're willing to stand up to the AMOG, you're willing to give that witty response, and you're willing to maintain frame under all circumstances, you know, being short shouldn't even be an issue. Hope this video was somewhat informative. Hope this answers all of the questions that you short guys have. And listen, if you're short, it's not over for you. Sure, it's going to be a limitation, but it's not a limitation that you can't overcome. That's all I got today, guys. LFA signing out.